he's in love with the big man. He's doing great work with him. But I do want to highlight that it's not something we're seeing every other team doing, so it is a nose.
But it is absolutely a champion JRE plays. Twitch was banned out, so keeping that rhythm going. Pick or ban to see how close that is to 100%. May well be on the mark. Kassadin taken away from Nick and Jax is the final ban this time around. It leaves Elite open for Connex.
Yes, but this is why you don't ban Kassadin as your first ban on red side. If you go towards the end, you open the opportunity to your opponents banning him out. Kassadin is not associated with blue side banning. And it's something that I like to see and I've been complaining about all weekend long. It's finally happening. I think teams need to cotton on to that fact. But I do want to highlight that Evelyn was a very quick lock-in for Cotnex, considering Kha'Zix was up and available, and knowing that Cotnex has played a couple other junglers. It's a lot of pressure on him on that champ.
Ooh, switches around. Will we go Leona? Will we see Edward going for something other than Gragas? It's been hit and miss, honestly. He hasn't really had a chance to shine too heavily on it.
I actually think Edward's performances have been solid, because every time I've seen it, there have been team fights where Edward has saved his teammates by the disruption of the explosive cask. I have not seen it used super successfully in terms of a lot of aggressive engages, but there's been a lot of resets that have done well. So I quite like it as a disengaged champion. Leona is the exact opposite. Throw your solar flare, commit, find the kills, and that's what it looks like he wants to do.
Yeah, going for that one alongside Lucian, who continues to be 92.9% pick, 13 out of 14 so far. Crazy, crazy pick stats for Lucian. Kerp, what will he go with? I know a lot of people with him in the fantasy team now will be keeping their eyes on that one. It will be LeBlanc. It is a heavy burst champion, and well, Kevin will be very happy the fact that he's got Aurelia.
Comfortable pick. Kevin sticking to his bruises. I really like Kevin on bruises, and he tends to perform very solidly. Aurelia play has been somewhat hit and miss this week. We've had some very good performances and some pretty average ones. But it also tells you that I think Kevin's going to be more focused on the team this time around. Yesterday when he played Shyvana, he was a little more split push heavy. He was trying to focus down the side lanes and get control of the map against the Copenhagen Wolves. With Aurelia, she can still do that, of course, but I get the instincts of the feelings that he wants to be a little more with his team.
Syndra currently being considered. Of course, Nidalee is available if you wanted to go with it. Didn't work out well for him in game one of the Super Week for Gambit. Trundle being the second consideration for Darian in that top lane. Syndra will get locked in. I believe this is the first Syndra of the European Summer Split.
It is. And it's another new champion for Nick. Another, champion we haven't seen him perform on. We need to see how it works. If you look at the comp, you've got a lot of multi-target stuns. Solar Flare can lock people up for a long time. The possibility for Syndra to use Scatter the Weak and lock people up for a long time. That could be 2-3-man stuns over and over. And if you layer those with a Trundle pillar, it just makes landing those skill shots even easier. So I quite like the combination. You've got burst damage, you've got disengage, you've got engage. So Gambit are putting together a much more balanced team comp than they did previously. And JRE toying with his signature Blitzcrank. He's flicking between it often, but I don't think he'll get one.
Yeah, big smile on his face. Not going to happen though. Instead, it will be that Morgana lock-in, one of the most popular supports, I think it's safe to say, throughout the Summer Super Week so far. Graves again, as you mentioned, being considered, and it will get locked in. Graves, very popular among the AD carries.
We haven't seen Jinx, so Jinx has moved away. Lucian was taken off the table, and it feels like teams have moved away from Caitlyn. We've not seen a lot of Caitlyn. I believe Genja played one game with her earlier, but in contrast to the spring split, Caitlyn is nowhere near on the roadmap. The final lock-in was Diamond's Kha'Zix. He was hovering over that early on, but I think for Millenium, they've got somewhat of a disjointed composition here. Aurelia, LeBlanc, Eve, they do want to jump in your face, they do want to blow you up, and there's Morgana there for peel if anybody jumps onto Creatine. But because Creatine is such short range, he needs to get past a Trundle pillar, past Kha'Zix, past Syndra, and past Leona if he wants to get any damage on the squishy. So it's going to be interesting to see how these team fights play out. A lot of pressure on Kerp and Cotnex to find kills and to come in from the side and blow up Diamond when he doesn't have the damage reduction in his ultimate form, and ideally pushing Syndra out as well.
There are the teams. We'll see how it works out for them. Millenium facing off against Gambit. What do you make of it overall?
I prefer the balance of Gambit's team composition. I think they can do more things, and on the assumption Nick is landing his Scatter the Weeks and blowing people up with Unleashed Power, his performance will hinge whether they win the team fights, but they sure as hell have the tools to do it.
Well, playing Syndra, everything hinges on you, that's for sure. Let's take a look once more at your votes on LOLesports.com, where you've picked Gambit, 56%. That's definitely a lot closer than you would have thought it would be, because Millenium have put in some good numbers so far in the Super Week.
And of course, the way Gambit just got manhandled by Alliance earlier in the day, that's definitely going to waver viewer confidence. Yeah, Gambit got a couple of objectives on the board, but they were bullied. They didn't win a solid team fight at all. And they had a lot of champions that had a lot of damage. For this game, I actually think they have all of the answers to deal with Millenium. But they need to make it work. They need to land those Solar Flares, they need to land those Scatter the Weeks. As long as they make it work, I think they can beat Millenium.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game 3 of Super Week's Day 3. In the European LCS studios, live in Cologne, Germany. Millenium, can they go 3-1 in Super Week? It would be a dream start for them, I feel, as the blue team up against Gambit, who could, despite their early and somewhat problematic issues, could go 2-2 this week.
Could. I mean, they've got this game to prove themselves. There have been way more questions asked after seeing them perform than previous games. I don't want to touch on the fact Millenium have not run with the Scrying Orb, which they have done in 2 of the games. Kevin has gone for the blue trinket, gone for the early vision, and then gone for the invade. But at the moment, defensive start from Gambit. If a Dark Binding connects, maybe Diamond's in trouble, but I don't think it will.
It's a quick early ward as well in their own red buff. They see Diamond. They know the fact that Gambit haven't gone towards their own red buff right now. They will put the ward down. Actually, there's a double ward placed down there, up around the top red and in the bush, and they've got full vision. They're going to back off.
So that's very reminiscent of what Fnatic did. They got some vision down, and then they were able to continue moving around their opponent's jungle and find kills also with Dark Binding. With Morgana Dark Bindings. This time, Millenium have played it safe. They just want the information. They want the knowledge of where Diamond is. And they did see him walk through their red buff. I believe he walked over the ward. It does look like Diamond's backed out, though.
Yeah, he did walk around there. Got himself a ward down in towards there and immediately backed out. So, it looks like it will be some fairly even starts. You can see both duo lanes heading down towards the bottom. It will be a top 1v1 up there. So standard meta starts from both of these teams.
Yeah, standard starts. Part of the reason that Graves is picked into Lucian is because he can't trade with him in lane. Thanks to the tankiness of Graves and the buckshot damage early on, he can actually do pretty well. But he does just need to be a little careful of being caught by Leona. The poke and the burst damage is quite hard. And in terms of the Irelia versus Trundle matchup, as long as Kevin maintains control of his mana, he's got a little more damage and a little more on-hit sustain, whereas Trundle will be relying on those minions dying to get HP back to his passive.
Eddie trying to land that shield on them, trying to get the explosion down, but Jerry instead, with that Spell Thief's Edge, will get some poke on towards Edward. Keep that gold stacking in his favor. Pokes continuing. Eddie again, just on that level 1, desperately trying to get that shield onto Jerry, but he's not falling for it, steps away, and Creaton actually putting some good damage down on Genja, despite the fact Genja starting with the early CS lead.
Yeah, it's a non-traditional level 1 start in that Leona for the Eclipse. Getting caught by Dark Binding, that's a lot of damage.
Early level 2, of course. We see Connex coming around the side. Eddie's gone deep on this one, may have to flash away. Has got Ignite available himself. J-Ree's going to come in towards it, puts some more damage down, but the Dark Binding, was not available because he used it at the start of the fight.
Yeah, and of course, Connex was quite smart there. He could have flashed to try stick to Edward, but because Dark Binding wouldn't root Eddie in place, Eddie could just counter flash himself. So as opposed to wasting the summoner spell, backed away and played that one safe. If Kerp goes aggro on Nick, he's going to take some damage.
Quickly distorts away. Straight away, he got stunned up. It's not going to be enough though. We'll step away from that one. Diamond instead will take a little bit of lane tactic.
I actually think that's a positive sign, seeing Nick line up his Scatter the Week, because you can predict when Kerp is going to go back to that distortion. The moment he returns to his original, jumping point, you can lock him up. Now, Diamond with some support of Darien is going to be counter-jungling away the Wolf Camp. Blue buff was obviously taken away, but it will give Gambit time on it, as they've revealed the objective on Vision. So once it respawns, they'll be well aware of it being up and down. And Darien, happy to farm, happy to counter-jungle rather. instead of staying in lane against Kevin.
Yeah, using the buddy system, happy to let the minion wave be pushed in. Kevin instead keeping that lane frozen in the mid. May actually find himself in a little touch of trouble here. Ping goes down as they step straight on top of Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin had full vision of that one. Into this time around, eating a few more of those dark bindings than he wants to. A very big minion wave under the tower. Actually bombing them up very effectively there. He just missed 1 or 2 of those CS. But the poke and the punishment is definitely in favor of Millenium. It is what you expect with that Leona. Kerp sidestep.
Oh, nice sidestep there. Konex is going to come in. Good stun down on towards him. Flashes away. The ignite down. First blood comes in. It's Konex that takes it.
I retract the sidestep. It was the scatter the weak. Because of Kerp jumping forward, it wasn't the ball that connected with Kerp to stun him up. Diamond, he wants Konex.
He's going to try and jump in. He's gone deep. He's got a wave of minions. He may pay the price. He's going to get stunned up. The minions alone will do the damage. And Kerp picks himself up a kill for himself.
I don't think that's worth it because of the fact that Kerp now has red buff. Kerp has got a kill in reply to Diamond's kill, which just means Kerp has the additional gold and the additional buff to deal with Nick. So Kerp now has a level 1. He's got a Phoenix Codex picked up. He's going to return to lane and make Nick's life so incredibly difficult. That scatter the weak actually pushed Kerp just out of range of that ball to prevent him being stunned and allowed him to continue the chase and actually get that kill and the assist on the board.
So AD carries have actually both backed off. You can see double Dorans for Genji. He's now back in lane, getting that farm continuing to go. Creaton went for the Vampiric Scepter, so had to touch more gold as he went back. Kerp back in lane as well, got himself the book. It is the Phoenix Codex, of course. Oh, I was just wondering if he was going to maybe go aggressive on Nick. Having a little look towards it, that's for sure. Nick's going to have to be a little bit more careful now. Got himself a double Doran's ring, but you can see the burst damage already that Phoenix Codex is doing on Nick.
And every time Kerp goes in for those trades, he's going to have that on-hit slow and the true damage from the red buff. I mean, it's such a good position for Kerp to be in, but he's got a window of opportunity to make it work. Now Diamond is moving to gank in this bottom lane, and we'll see if he can go in. Eddie already went in actually, so CC.
Yeah, that was a really bad gank, honestly. Eddie pulled the trigger a little too early, so maybe saw the opportunity for it.
Diamond's ganks thus far have been a little awkward. You know, his very early one in the mid lane, the jump was a bit off. This particular event, it was mistimed. Edward and Genji went in, I think, before Diamond was even in range. So that's probably a miscommunication call or a miscommunication problem. But they need to sort that out.
And it's an interesting problem because I still actually don't know who makes the calls in that team. Whether it was Alex, maybe. Who knows? Whether Diamond is now making the calls. Whether basically every's
Darian's going to be calling, help me, right now.
I don't think Darian calls that. I think he just dies. It's a possibility. Is he going to get away? The ultimate's not there! And Darian again, with that ultimate run-in, just strolls on out of there. Kevin had only just got his ultimate, sorry. Oh, J-Re, Black Shield, is going to stop Eddie in his tracks.
Very important, the flash and the subjugate gave him the armor and MR as well as the HP regen to survive that particular little gank, but now he's got no flash. So if Cotnex can come in behind Darian again, that will result in a death. It's something that Darian has suffered a few times already. Both mid laners have secured their blue buffs. And straight up lanes, nobody's touched the tower yet. Cotnex's ganks have been significantly more effective than Diamond's. And the first roam towards this top lane or the red buff looks to be in play.
Yeah, they know that Diamond is around there. He's just taken away those wraiths on a ward. Kevin and Konex looking to go towards him. Konex comes around the back, Diamond in all sorts of trouble. He's going to have to try and pounce his way out of this one. Is it going to be enough? The slowdown, the stun is there. Kevin gets himself an easy kill.
Just straight up roaming. I mean, that's purely Kevin and Konex being confident. They had some vision in the jungle, of course, so they were moving in, getting some wards down. They're going to steal the red buff away. The timing was so good. Millenium with a strong early start, and again, just showing that they are arguably the most prepared team for the summer split next to Alliance.
Yeah, absolutely. Millenium put a lot of work in. Konex, of course, joining them at the end of that spring split, kept them in there after an arduous 3-2 promotion series. Creaton continuing that bookshot. Creaton with a new lease of life, I feel, coming in towards this summer split as well. We heard him yesterday, how confident he seemed to be in his gameplay, how he's played more solo queue than ever before.
And I wonder what it is. You know, it's one of those things that sometimes it's just a trigger. You know, sometimes it's just how it works out. But regardless, Creatine is playing very well. He went unkilled in his first game of SuperWeek. Had some very, very good stats during the course of yesterday, holding even in the Lucian versus Leona lane. But now all of a sudden, Edward and Genja have the tools to play with. There's a solar flare up for Eddie if he wants to go in. And there's the culling from Genja.
He's going to get it away from hitting those minions. So Creatine didn't take a great burst of damage. He has got that collateral damage of his own available. And we saw the burst power of that yesterday with Woolite running Graves. Kerp is coming down. This is danger signs for Genja and Edward.
Oh, it definitely is, especially as he ate the binding.
Dark Binding lands. There's going to be the ulti. Not doing enough. Eddie flashed out. Just good timing there. Has he got enough burst on Genja? No, not even close.
So Kerp has roamed about 3 or 4 times over the last 4 minutes, has not actually been able to find anything, but he's not falling too far behind in CS. It's only this wave that has now technically been lost to him. It will be picked up by Cottonex, maybe the last little stragglers secured by Kerp. But Kerp is really trying to make something happen. Edward does have solar flare. So if he gets engaged upon, Diamond's going to counter. Diamond stealth!
Stealths in, gets on towards Jerry, pounces back in there. That Black Shield's not going to be enough, I feel. And Genja will pick himself up the kill.
Yeah, gets the last auto attack. No support from Edward, unfortunately. Doesn't manage to get the assist on that trade. But at the end of the day, it is a kill going the way of Gambit. So well executed, well played.
And that's the first sign of life, really, that Gambit have shown to try and get themselves on the board. Of course, it's been Diamond that's been involved in both of them. Lost his life twice, though, already in that kill and assist. Cottonex taking advantage, knows that Diamond's not there, comes in, steals the Wolf.
I also want to highlight, if you look at the top lane, Darian has used his Subjugate, his tongue's cooled down. Kevin has used his ultimate as well, and it appears as though Darian was pushed all the way back. So Kevin is probably playing quite aggressive. I think we should keep our eyes on this and see how it works out. Cottonex is going to come behind Nick.
It was bait from Kerp, and Nick's in trouble. Ignites down on him, he drops. It's Kerp that gets the kill.
Back in bait. I mean, that's it. Pull forward. Cottonex with another successful gank, and exactly like we talked about, Kevin is getting in Darian's face every single time. With his Sheen in his phage, he teleported back to lane. The thing is, Kevin's behind on CS. Probably could attribute it to the kill that was picked up onto Diamond when they invaded, and he left his lane for a little while. For the time being, he's going to make up. Genja again, just a lot of good damage.
Nice play, dashes out of that Dark Binding, and instead puts the culling back down on towards him to try and put some hurt on towards that support. Creatine coming in there, and the aggression from Gambit seemingly fairly strong. They've got to be careful they don't go too far with Cottonex roaming above them.
There's no Agony's Embrace, so it's all on J. Reed. If a Dark Binding or Soul Shackles doesn't lock him up, it's not going to work.
Soul Shackles will lock him up. Dark Binding will follow. Eddie's going to be the focus. Solar Flare turns back around here. You can see Diamond trying to join in. Darian gets that Pillar of Ice down in place. And Diamond pounces in. J. Reed will be the only one that goes down. He can't quite get Eddie in the process. That shield just enough to save his life.
That was actually quite good from Gambit, because not only does it get them a kill, it does open up the Dragon. They should lose their top tower, though. It does look like Kevin's going to shove that one out. Unfortunately for Millenium, they didn't take into account the teleport. And we see just how tanky Edward was. With the Eclipse on, he instantly got... oh, here comes Kerp.
This is not a done deal yet. Cottonex comes in, steals it. Diamond in trouble. He goes down. And then Darian's focus. He's trying to get on Cottonex, but he simply can't chase on towards him. Has he got enough? The Pillar of Ice may just have got himself the kill. But I think Kerp's cooldown to back. He's going to get caught out with that stun. The damage is there, and Kerp gets another. It's a 4-0-1 for the mid laner, who's just found a brand new lease of life in the summer split.
Cottonex is one of the primary reasons that Millenium are doing so very well. In all of the games that they've played, he's been instrumental in getting kills early, enforcing objectives. He just flash smite stole away a dragon that was looking safe and completely taken by Gambit. Not only that, but they lose the first tower as well. So Millenium are just growing further and further ahead.
I would argue that Genja really should have been there to help out there, because he was at the Tri-Bush. He took down the pink wall and then didn't join them at Dragon.
Completely
didn't help them at the Dragon. The Dragon would have been gone down. There wouldn't have been a smite steal. There wouldn't have been any problems there. And it would have been a 3v2. But instead, 2v2 straight up. You've got a fed mid laner coming in. Thank you very much. All the kills are mine.
So that's the other thing, is you look at that scenario and you're like, okay, so why did Nick not follow Kerp down? Why wasn't he there? Also, I wasn't expecting Cottonex to flash over the wall with an Evelyn. That's not a super common occurrence, but it's just Millenium are just playing really confident. They believe in their teammates and their calls. Kerp was like, look, I can join there. Now Darian's in trouble.
Seconds out, round 2. Darian goes down once again. This time around, it will be Kevin and Cotton X doing the damage, and Kevin will get himself a second on the board now that the Trinity Force is complete.
Now this is something that I like to see from teams. When you first pick a champion and you do well, Kerp's going to jump on Nick here.
Oh, he's going to get a poke across the side. The chain lands.
Wow.
Nick tries to turn it around, but does not land the stun.
How can you hit somebody that is more mobile than Neo? Kerp just dashed in there, dodged everything that was thrown down by Nick, and even got out of range of the Scat of the Week. They're going to dive. This is a dead Nick.
So,
or not. I got too excited. There was good flash.
My question is, why do you pick a Syndra into a very mobile champion like Kerp has, who gets another kill on the board?
I cannot answer that question, because Syndra was picked the following round. LeBlanc was locked in.
I'll get Bjergsen on the phone, see if
Nick,
he's going to answer.
The thing is, like, the thing is, Syndra's going to offer you a lot in team fights. Syndra's going to offer you quite a lot. You have that scatter where you can combo multiple stuns, and if you are confident, I mean, maybe in solo queue, maybe Nick is beating LeBlanc's in solo queue, but Kerp is just landing everything every time.
And I just want to draw everyone's attention. That's with a trackball.
Oh, it's sickening. Now, they want to tower dive in this bottom here. We do see Diamond. He's got his ultimate up and available. The isolation bonus is a longer range, and turrets count as friendly, so it's going to be a little difficult.
Oh, Darian.
Diving Darian.
Oh, here we go. It's a 3-man this time. Who's going to take the glory? Kerp is once again. Teleport down the bottom. Here comes Kevin. And now J-Reed, Diamond, everybody's running away. Dark Binding does not land. And I think Gambit may disengage just in case.
So teleport blown by Kevin. He's not going to have that return back to his lane, but he does have a completed Trinity Force. And with the kill again on Darian, Kerp is actually going to get some pretty good damage in this top lane in a turret.
Mid lane turrets under pressure right now. Gambit going to try and get some beating back down on towards that one. They haven't got enough though, as the minion wave is there. Kevin's going to go in, blade surges onto the minion. Does not quite catch Diamond. And he will just sidestep that one. It's going to be another wave of minions picked up by Kevin.
Now, one of the other things that you notice is Kevin is roaming now. Now that he's got the Trinity Force, he's freed himself from dealing with Darian. Diamond's going to find Cotton. That's a level different. That's good damage.
That's good damage. Didn't fancy the fight there. Now he's got J-Reed and Kerp in support. They absolutely do. There's 4 members of Gambit nearby. 4 members of Millenium close. This blue buff is going to be contested, but Diamond's in trouble. Oh, Kerp doesn't quite manage to catch that chain.
That was very, very close. Had that connected and actually rooted, it probably would have killed Diamond once his stealth wore out. The Millenium have got a very strong lead, and they've got a very strong roaming pick comp. You know? If you have Evelynn, Irelia, and LeBlanc jumping into targets, it's quite difficult to get away. It's quite difficult to not get blown up. So what Millenium are going to be looking to do is roaming around the jungle, finding solo targets, and then pushing towers.
I don't think he's quite got enough to take Darian down. Now, maybe I spoke too soon, who knows. He's going to keep on popping back and forward. Darian actually quite happy to walk away from that one with his life.
Yeah, very good mechanical display by Kerp. Using the Mimic and then Mimic Distortion. So jumping in and out. He made us think he was running away, and then he jumped back in with the Mimic Distortion and just really, really playing well. Cotton X does have Agnes Embrace, so again, J-Reed needs to land the CC. If he does, there will be kills. If J-Reed does not connect, then I think Genja and Edward with his Solar Flare should be enough time to get away.
That's 11-11 jungler nearby. Eddie and Genja have some problems here. Pink ward goes down, J-Reed will clear that coverage. You can see Cotton X is sneaking around the backside of them. Genja will be the focus target. Dark Binding, will it land? Teleport comes in, they're going to turn straight back on towards this one actually. Instead they just throw a bunch of damage on the spot where Darian teleported from. Kerp was making his way down, Diamond heading him off.
I really like the smoke grenade from Creatine as well. That's going to just deny Darian vision. The teleport, yes, while it didn't help net any kills, it means Darian is available for the next Dragon team fight. They stun on Jerry, they might try burst him down.
Well, they're going to try, but I'm not sure they've got enough. There's the ultimate coming out from Nick. Diamond tries to stealth himself up, but instead the rest of the team will turn this back around. Diamond tries to go on J-Reed, still yet to get the kill. Kevin instead turns that on his head, and now Eddie's in trouble. Kevin with the ultimate running. Kerp can't quite dash on towards Eddie. Cotton X, he's in trouble right now. He's actually been separated. He's going to have to make a run for it. The tower damage isn't quite enough. It will. Genja picks himself up the kill.
Yeah, I got tagged by that Ardent Blaze, and it was just enough range to give him the kill. Gambit went in disjointed. They just went in one by one. Now they're going to look to re-engage. The Dark Binding is good. The Soul Shackles is available for J-Ree. Not going to need it. And he backs away. And if Gambit had been more focused in that engage, they maybe could have come out better. They end up trading 1 for 1, so it wasn't like it was terrible. But again, they just went in drips and grabs. Diamond was super aggressive. He ran through like 2 or 3 members of Millenium with his first charge of his stealth camouflage, and you sort of went, that's not really going to work out. You're not far enough ahead, or you don't have that ability to make those plays just yet.
Very mixed target focus as well, and more to the point, he didn't actually get the kill on J-Ree either. He went deep for it, trying to get that unseen threat proc, and then, well, it's not going to happen when he's amongst 4 members of his team. So, Millenium, 10-5 up. That was Genja picking himself up a turret for Gambit, but you can tell the tale of this game is very much in favor of Millenium, as they now have a 5,000 gold advantage stacking up their way.
Back-to-back LeBlanc games and back-to-back games that are just phenomenal. Expecting in the previous one, Kerp this time around, slightly differing item builds, but what it does signal is Kerp can jump into the middle of a team fight, cause everyone to jump on him, then he can just hourglass up, and it allows the rest of Millenium to keep running amok. Then the moment Kerp comes back up, Gambit have to be so on point with who they are targeting and their changing targets once the team fights break out, that hourglass is just going to give them even more tools, even more opportunities to find kills and take Gambit down.
Kevin, who has been having some freedom, it's safe to say, 3-0-1. Warden's Mail now picked up along with that Trinity Force he had early on. He's actually not going overly confident because he's well aware of the position, and now he sees Diamond walking over the ward. He's going to completely give himself away.
Why would Kevin? He knows that if Darren keeps pushing, Cotnex will come help. Yeah, Kevin probably could pick a fight, but he knows that Darren's been overextended multiple times.
Oh.
Kerp is looking for Genja. We'll see if we can find him.
Run, Genja, run. You're going to get caught out here. Oh, dodges nicely, but he can see coming around the side. We're going to have straight towards a Dark Binding. The ultimate comes out from J-Ree. He's got no dashes left on this one, sadly. And it will be J-Ree with the kill.
Grab himself a nice one. Soul Shackles to open it up. The rest of Millenium looking for more. And similar story, just Gambit overextending. This time it was Genja that was way too far forward. Kevin is being dived. Pretty good dash though, back to the tower.
Oh, back dash. Left and right. He's going to get away from this one, I feel. Oh no, maybe not. The chomp from Darien. He should get the claws now, Diamond. Not quite there. He's going to finish him with the Void Spike.
Yeah, but at what cost? The rest of Millenium are on this top lane tower. They have a minion wave to work with. Kerp is responding, and he should find a target. Can he land the chains?
Danger, danger. Who is he going to go for? He's going to split and go for a field goal instead. Kerp not managing to find the target. They do take that top turret down, though. And that was a mid turret as well for Nick.
Okay, so trading towers back and forth. The inner top tower is obviously going to be more valuable than that mid-outer turret. But what it does mean is Gambit now have more room to invade if they want to go onto Millenium's bottom half of the map. With no outer turrets there, it gives Gambit the opportunity to push into Millenium's red buff or get some deep wards. The vision game, still heavily in favor of Millenium. If you look at how many blue wards are on that mini-map, Millenium are working with a lot of information. Unfortunately, they opted to make the play in the top lane, which exposed Kevin in the bottom lane. And because of the decision and their focus of trying to get Genja and maybe that top inner turret, it did obviously mean that Kevin went down. But it's not the end of the world. 1 kill. They still held on to their bottom inner turret as well.
So interestingly, despite Kerp's massive dominance in that mid lane, 6-0-2, he didn't go for DFG early on.
It is different, and I think it's just because of the playstyle. It's just, he wants to be able to survive. If he gets caught by Darien or Diamond or Genja, there's a lot of armor that the Hourglass will play into favor. And I also think what I really like is the disruption factor that it offers you. If you have Kerp going in maybe a little late or maybe even a little earlier, that item allows Irelia and Evelyn and Morgana to reposition and get themselves even in a better place. So it's a slightly different style, but I think it's going to play very well into how Millenium want to team fight by having very chaotic, very all over the place champions, because Eve is very quick, you know. Irelia, same story. Look for the Solar Flare.
Oh, Solar Flare lands. Connex is there, and they suddenly realize, oh, back out of that one. We're going to see a double teleport coming in. Where are you going to go, Darren? You've just landed in front of 3 members This is going to be an easy kill picked up. Kevin this time around. Kerp comes around the back. Edge is in trouble. Tries to lock in. There is that Sonya's Hourglass. And that was a triple kill for Kevin.
And that is exactly why Kerp went for the Hourglass. Allows him to tower dive. Allows him to go in, mitigate the threat, mitigate the risk of going down. 3 kills for Kevin. 3 kills for Millenium in total, and they're going to grab most likely an inner turret. There's a minion wave behind them, and there's no ways Gambit can defend this.
You can see Diamond waiting off at the side, but I don't think he wants to pounce in on this one. They're going to tank that turret down. Kevin's not really the one who wants to fancy tanking it, but it's another inner turret picked up. Diamond is waiting.
So that was brave. I think he wanted to try and defend the blue buff, or at the very least have information on when it went down. There is support for the rest of Gambit, but I think Kerp should get away from it.
Going for it. Can he get on towards him? Kraton is there as well, just backs away. Cool as a cucumber there, no problem.
Confidence from Creatine. Now, Kerp obviously had to flash to get out of range of Diamond, and that was just Millenium, I think, dawdling, the best way to say it. But again, 5th tower of the game to 2 of Gambit. Dragon's going to be respawning in 10 seconds. Gambit should secure this if they rush it, because it'll take a little while for Millennium to get there, but if they don't rush it down instantly, this could turn into a big fight. Actually, I think it probably will turn into a fight, because Gambit have not made a notion for the Dragon Pit and Millennium are making a beeline. They want to get in on their objective. Solar Flare is available. All ultimates are up with the exception of Agony's Embrace. The Millennium may want to stall for a few seconds.
Really got the damage, honestly. They're 10,000 gold behind. Eddie just gets destroyed where he stands. Did land a good solar flare before he died, but honestly, there was not a lot of damage on Gambit's part. They have to step away from this one. The Smite Steel comes in once again from Cotnex, and Millennium happy to just transition in towards that mid lane and keep the pressure on Gambit.
Gambit again demonstrates an inability to call and communicate team fights.
Going.
Let's see who he's going to go for.
He's going to go for both. It doesn't matter. He's going to get on the Nick. Nick's in trouble. Soul Shackles, not quite enough. Kerp gets another. He's got like...
It's just phenomenal. Millennium are just individually outclassing Gambit in every single lane. Every single member of Millennium is doing a better job than that of Gambit, and as a team, their calling is superb. So they're going to be onto this inhibitor turret 20 seconds before Nick is up. They've got a very big minion wave to work with, and this is going to equate to a lot of damage.
Oh, Kerp's going for Genja, forces him away. That minion wave was cleared out pretty quickly. Diamond again, waiting off the side. He really wants to try and make a play here, try and catch somebody low hit points. Darian's do what he can to tank them and keep them away there. Diamond's still waiting off the side. He's got to be careful. There's no one low enough.
No, he can't get in there. He doesn't have the damage. This is a 2-4-2 Diamond with a Giant's Belt as his only tank stat. No, he's got a little bit of HP. And when you consider all of the items his opponents are dealing with, 12,000 gold lead, Gambit just need to find... They actually need to surprise Millennium. What Gambit need to do is stun somebody with a Syndra or a Leona, and then let Kha'Zix try to clean it up. But as long as Millennium stay relatively grouped, they've got a very good position. Unfortunately, Gambit have just fallen too far behind. They've let Kerp get so unstoppable.
Kerp is not going to go for it this time, but Kevin will. Distortion was already used. Kerp comes across.
Solar Flare whiffs.
Gets straight out of it.
Like Solar Flare whiffs, culling whiffs. Nick's Syndra has not done what he was hoping to do. He has not been able to blow anybody up. We've not seen any of those scatter the weak stuns that I was talking about. And what has also happened is Gambit fell behind individually in the lanes too early on. So even though their team may have the tools to have a better team fight in a straight-up 5v5, Millennium's not giving them that chance. Millennium's finding a kill, finding a pick. Go back to that Dragon fight. Edward was overextended. He was in front of his team. The rest of Gambit were on the Dragon. Edward got soloed out, zoned out, and killed. And all of a sudden it's a 5v4, and Millennium can just run you down. This is something Millennium keep doing. They find a way to isolate a target, kill him, and then go for the rest.
Compare and contrast Nick's Syndra to the last one we saw, of course, before the All-Stars, which was run by Shi Young, was simply immaculate, honestly. Diamond's going to jump away. Eddie's caught out once again. Collateral damage is going to be not. Paul didn't do enough on Eddie.
Not this time around, I'm afraid. But no execution element to that, so the lower Edward's HP is doesn't make a difference, I'm afraid. Bloodthirster, as well as that Last Whisper, still doing work for Creatine, yet to die. Another very solid performance, and thanks to all the damage they put on Gambit. Gambit are looking to just go for a tower instead of contesting this Baron. They can't really win these team fights. and this is going to get risky.
God.
Look at that damage. That's a tank.
Well, he's not a tank anymore. He's a squishy target for Curb. Curb goes legendary, 8-0-4. Baron gets picked up. The rest of Gambit, they need to scatter, run like the wind. Instead, Nick's going to get caught out. Scatter the week doesn't stop Curb in his tracks. He gets himself yet another double. 18-6 now for Millenium.
And the Baron. So they've got a kill lead, they've got a tower lead. Now Diamond's going to die.
Oh, Curb continues his rampage. Stealth is going to be enough. Tries to get away. He's going to show himself. Connex is going to come around the side. Will manage to land. The ultimate goes on towards him. Yak in his embrace. Doesn't slow them down enough, though. But it doesn't matter, because look at the mid-turret. Creaton is there.
Yeah, the rest of the team, another dark binding. Curb jumps to Genja.
It's just going deep on this one.
Summon a heal used.
Turret goes down. Summon a heal was indeed used by Genja to save the bacon there. But the inhibitor will fall. Millenium in full control.
So Gambit have looked, if you take the bigger picture, in all of the games thus far, have looked very, very, very sketchy in team fights. That is the one overarching theme. Yesterday, when Gambit were playing against SK Gaming, they had a very strong lead, a very strong performance, until they had to get through the inhibitor turrets, until SK Gaming forced them to make multiple 5v5 team fights. And in those situations, Nick struggled. He was playing Kayle, he missed a few key interventions, was out of position a couple of times. The targeting, the communication wasn't there. What level of communication are these guys at? You know, the calling, the captainship, the leadership, like you've highlighted. Because there's a lot of problems for Gambit to work through.
Kenja's half the hit points burst away from him.
Diamond's coming from behind.
Backs around there. Solar Flare lands. It's only caught Curb out, but Zonya's hourglass quickly mitigates all of that. Diamond comes in, stealthed up, but simply gets locked up on the wall. He has to pounce away to try and save his own life. Kevin's continuing to go deep. They're going to tank down the turret. Now they're catching on towards Darian. Curb's coming in as well. That's going to be a chain leash. Not quite landing on them, but it's a second inhibitor nonetheless.
That Baron has been used very, very effectively, and this is one of the...
the trackball, it's
even gods can mess up those jumps. But better for Curb to mess up the jump over the wall than onto teams. Look at the gold. 1,500, 1,500, 2,000, 2,000 down the board. Every single member of Millenium is 3,000 to 4,000 gold ahead of their opponents. So just from a statistics standpoint, this game is all but over. There are super minions in 2 lanes. Millenium are going to finish this off, but I think it goes all the way back to laning. Kotinex had successful ganks, he got kills for his team then continued to find kills themselves. And that's what it boils down to. Gambit have just been outclassed.
Yeah, Nick just got bullied out. Kotinex, like you said, came around. Well, as soon as that flash was burst, Kurt basically had free roam in the mid lane, absolutely dominated it. That led Kotinex to just basically harass top and bottom and middle. We know Darian, he's going to get caught out now and again. But a 6-1-3 Aurelia, it's a dangerous thing to stop. A 9-0-4 LeBlanc, well, that's just unstoppable.
Yeah, and the other problem is, of course, that it wasn't only Darian that was caught overextended. Genja was caught out in the top lane as well. So all props to Millenium for catching them, for taking advantage, you know, being in the right place at the right time. But in the same token, Gambit really can't afford to be pushing past the safety zone. So look at the super minions in the mini-map. I apologize, I made you look at the mini-map and then there was a dead bug.
Single combination takes down Diamond. Well, once that starts happening, you know you're in trouble. Of course, they've just been back to spend all of that gold. Darian gets melted down by the rest of Millenium. That inhibitor turret will fall. They're going to run Gambit onto the fountain.
Wow.
Curb now with so much damage, he can 3v1 them quite happily, distorting his way through the entire team. Final inhibitor falls, the Nexus turrets will follow, and Millenium in dominant form. They got 0 wins over Gambit in the spring split, but right here, they have looked impeccable with a fantastic victory, taking Gambit to 1-3 for the week, and it's a 3-1 Millenium, topping the table so far in the European LCS.
Deserved, absolutely deserved. During our pregame, I said the one thing that I was still concerned about, is having my voice there.
Getting emotional
is
about
that Millenium struggled to close games out. You know, we've seen it against the Super Hockey. They really did have a tough time. But today, against Gambit, they had a monumental lead. Got Baron, got Towers, Tower Dove. It was just, they were fantastic. And this is a team that everybody that watches